Hello. Thank you all for coming. I actually didn't expect very many people to show up after lunch, probably all quite sleepy. So we'll try and keep it entertaining and as poignant as we can. At one time in human history, people insisted that the Earth was both flat and the center of the universe. Galileo was one of the early such proponents of the reality that Earth is one of many celestial bodies just floating around the sun. The Catholic Church very publicly persecuted him as a result. He died in 1642, and it wasn't until 30 years later, Halloween 1992, that they formally apologized and admitted that they were wrong. During his lifetime, Vincent van Gogh suffered scorn and ridicule from his contemporaries, some even in his own family, who thought him literally insane. He couldn't sell a painting to save his life, and yet now we know him as the beloved artist that he is. French critics originally viewed Gustave Eiffel's tower as horrific. Today it's the iconic and venerable symbol of the French nation that we know it. Like autumn leaves scattered on the ground, history is decorated with these and other examples of visionary thinkers and doers who were often derided, oppressed in their day, only to be proven right and eventually celebrated. Some of these latest such prophets are here with us today, in this room, and listening to this presentation. That's right, we're talking about you. How many of you have experienced contempt or scorn for the work you do in cryptocurrency? Plenty of people can't wrap their mind around the concept of your product because they can't physically wrap their hands around it, like they can coins or paper money. We understand the challenge that you face convincing people about the future. As a species, we fear the unknown the most. Challenging conventional wisdom is often lonely, frightening, and sometimes even seen as heretical. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it. I'm Ross.
I'm Stuart.
And we're the co-founders of a creative outfit that we call Off-Brand. Although some people may think that we're a little off-kilter, because like you, we're very into the future. So over the next few minutes, we'd like to open up a discussion which should hopefully help your business not only speak to early adopters, but also convince them that you are the future, most importantly, while you're alive and able to witness the results.
So, not very long ago, maybe only a generation ago, when someone wanted to do business with you, they would ask you for your business card. Now that's actually been happening quite a lot today. I've given out a lot of my business cards. We've all probably got business cards with us, but they probably all look pretty much the same. They're probably all flat, two-dimensional looking things. Nowadays, your website is really your business card, albeit a digital business card with an awful lot more information on it than any business card could ever have. But like a traditional business card, your website is probably flat and two-dimensional looking, which means your website is probably out of date. So this is a moment for introspection. You don't need to raise your hands, just think about it yourself. We're not trying to embarrass anyone. How many people built their website from a template? And how many of us don't actually know if the person that built our website used a template? We get it. You're all busy people. You're building out the future of Web3, decentralized finance. You've got better things to do than build out a website. We can just farm that out to a freelancer. Well, not really if we want people to truly believe that we are the vanguards of the future, that we on this stage believe you all to be. That is where multidimensional marketing comes in.
Okay, so today, to stand apart from the crowd, business branding needs to be much more than a perfunctory dress-up exercise. You can't just use an obtuse font and a crazy color scheme. It doesn't match anymore. Gone are the days where you could get away with asking if your marketing is good enough. Now you can't afford to ask if it is as good as you can be. And while, sure, the taste of the definition of taste is subjective, everybody has their own likes and dislikes. But most of us, and that includes your customers, know the difference between a superior product and an inferior product. So your brand, therefore, must convey a feeling, a latent desire. It has to be attractive, interactive, alive, and most importantly, immersive. So, let's be honest with yourself now. if your product is Web 3, why is your marketing Web 2? At this point, we'd like you to give us a couple of minutes so we can introduce Web3D multidimensional marketing by showing you some of what we've been up to lately in the space.
Just imagine how cool that would have looked on the main stage with the big screen behind us. But yeah, that was some of the work that we've been doing recently in the space. The 3D visuals that you saw, the sound effects, we think that stuff's really cool. We love to make it, but it's not really the point in the work that we produce. The idea is that we believe that a website can be an experience. It can be something that can really resonate with your target market and something that genuinely can influence people to do business with you. So what do we actually mean by that? Number one, we want to make something that looks amazing, that's immersive and memorable and all that great stuff. But it's more than that when you do business. What you want to do is increase dwell times, so the amount of time that someone spends on your page. You want to increase your call to action rates and ultimately lower your cost per click. That is what you can achieve with multidimensional marketing. And it's more than that. Not only do we create a one-off experience that's memorable and immersive and brand new, something that people are going to remember and maybe even share, you add to the vibe of your own company, whatever it is that people think about when they think about you, you can add something to that. And then what are people actually doing when they go onto the web? It's not like when you go on your phone and you doom scroll Twitter or Instagram. When you go on a website, you're normally looking for specific information. Thank you. So marketing giant Dejan, they told us that only 16% of people, so less than 1 in 5 of us, actually read all the words on a page. So the question becomes, how do we deliver your key messages and how do we add to your own vibe? The answer, we believe, to be Web3D multi-dimensional marketing. So it's concise copy, it's original, well thought through user experiences, it's original and immersive visuals, and it's all tied in with your brand.
So the more emotionally invested customers are when they're visiting your website, the better, both for them and for you. This is what multidimensional marketing can do. It makes that fantastic first impression while leaving the lasting one that you want. Your website shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be an instantly inspiring method of communicating with the target audience that you've worked so hard to attract. Website experiences, as Stu says, no longer need to be literal. They need to be sensory, because remember, a website's function is not just to elicit that desired call to action response. It is also fundamental in establishing your company's brand and provoking the unique vibe that your products create. Just like logo design, the idea isn't to tell you everything at first glance. We don't need to be that literal. Once somebody is engaged, they can learn more through all of your channels and all of your subpages. The idea is to grab attention, instantly communicate something about your brand or company. What kind of things do you do? What are your products? To illustrate this, we're going to bring up a couple of case studies. First one's quite fun. Umeme are a blockchain-based social media platform with a focus around memes and meme creation. They are fun. They don't take themselves seriously. They're tech-focused, and they love 2001: A Space Odyssey. The ask was simple: create a future-forward, fun, interactive, and informative site. And here's what we came up with. As you can see, we've had a little bit of fun with their mascot. We've brought him to life. We've stuck him in space, and we've given him a fishbowl so he can breathe. And he gets to do what he loves all day, which is look at memes on a giant space obelisk. I think the key point here is, though, that the information is easily discernible and digestible by your users, and the background experience, while it adds fun and hooks people in, doesn't detract from that. A little change of tack here, a little change of vibe. We have Morningstar Ventures. These guys are serious. They do take themselves seriously. They're giants in the space. I'm sure many of you here know who they are. They're they're investors in some of the biggest names in the industry, and they aren't shy about it. They had a brand to begin with, but our task was to demonstrate their explosive reach in the cryptosphere while maintaining that brand likeness. Again, with the last one and this one, if you want to know more, you can read more, but the idea is that you get what they're trying to sell very quickly. And that is the power of Web3D multidimensional marketing.
Nice. So the year 2022 and the month of November mark a century since archaeologist Howard Carter discovered the nearly perfectly preserved tomb of Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings. So that discovery came after years of very expensive and fruitless digging in the deserts of Egypt. And his benefactor, a man called Lord Carnarvon, had given him one final chance. So on that day, when he finally smashed his way into Tutankhamun's tomb and peeked his head inside, Lord Carnarvon asked him, "Can you see anything?" "Yes, wonderful things," replied Howard. So we don't really know if he actually knew what he could see in front of him. The entire field of Egyptology, the future of Egyptian tourism. But you can imagine that at that moment, he knew he was glimpsing something significant. We hope today at this conference and at this talk specifically, you have also enjoyed a similarly memorable glimpse into the future of Web3 and of how you should market it. If you'd like to hear more about multidimensional marketing, we're off-brand. We'd love to speak to all of you. We're really interested in the space and all your projects and products. Alternatively, this is our QR code. You can have a look at our website.
If you can scan it.
You can scan it, if you can. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yep.